Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Reality Theory. Um, Hope you all had a good week. Um, I had a fairly decent week. Busy, but fairly decent.
Yeah.
Um, so I heard recently that what was it? That the House passed or was it?
The House of Representatives passed a bill to make the minimum wage $15 an hour by the year 2025.
Oh, 2025. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
6 years.
so are the geniuses that run this country thought that it would be a good idea to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've been that I've been that person that was struggling, um,
We both have.
as just like a lot of people out there. Probably I'd have to say at least half the people out there, maybe more. But but even then, I mean, at that time, did I deserve $15 an hour? No, I did not deserve $15 an hour. But what a lot of people don't understand too is that, the the whole point of minimum wage or a minimum wage job is it's meant to be a stepping stone. It's not meant to be a career. It's not meant to be a lifelong job where you're making minimum wage for 20 plus years. I mean, that's not what it was intended for. It's there for those jobs were created, or the jobs are there for high school kids and college kids, and people just getting out of school and getting on their feet, to get some experience and to work while they're getting an education or learning a trade or something,
Hmm.
to go on to do better things. I mean, everybody should strive to do better in their life. They should strive to, you know, uh, get more education, get a better paying job, those types of things. These minimum wage jobs aren't meant for lifelong careers. That's not what it's meant for. You hear the argument all the time that well, people can't live on, 7.25 an hour. Well, it's not meant for them to live on 7.25. If they're 35 years old making 7.25 an hour, they might ought to rethink their life choices. I mean, that's the bottom line.
It's for the kids that are going to classes every day that are, they want to make some extra cash on the side for food, for drinks, whatever it is. I mean, it's made for the kid that, he's on summer vacation from high school or middle school. He just wants to go, you know, work in the local deli or CVS, whatever it is, and
Yeah,
just make some extra cash on the side so his parents don't have to pay for every little thing. He can take care of himself
yeah,
and learn. Okay, this is what life is going to be like after I get out. It gives him experience, and okay, I got to listen to my manager. I've got people that are going to be telling me what to do. It's not for, like he said, it's not for a guy my age to be sitting there and thinking about retirement,
no,
because it ain't going to happen.
no. It's for those kids that you know they can make their couple $100 a month car payment, uh, pay for their own insurance, put some gas in their car, and maybe a little weed on the side or something. I mean, that's what it's meant for. It's not meant, take your girl to the movies or whatever, but it's not meant to live on. It's not meant to pay a mortgage or an apartment rent or anything like that. It's not meant to pay for insurance for your kids. That's not what it's there
No.
for. I mean, I was a 17, 18-year-old kid with a kid making minimum wage, and it sucks and it's hard to do, but I also knew that this was a stepping stone. It wasn't meant This isn't what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life, was make 7.25 an hour. It was get some experience, get a better paying job, get some experience there, then get a better paying job, maybe get an education somewhere along the way, learn a trade, whatever it is, to better yourself. It's not meant to stay there, be stuck and stagnant at 7.25. I mean, that's just, and first of all, I don't know of any job that, if you start off at minimum wage, even if you work there for 5 or 10 years, they're not going to keep you at minimum wage. You're going to get a raise over time.
No, that's just a starting point.
It's a starting point.
That's why they call it minimum.
Right.
They're going to start you off at the minimum, and you're going to go up from there.
And I don't, not only that, but I don't know a lot of jobs, even the minimum wage jobs. I don't know a lot of those jobs that, for somebody who's in their 20s or 30s, that would start you off at minimum wage. They're typically going to give you a little more than minimum wage. They'll bump
Because
you up to
by
eight, nine, ten
by that
bucks.
time in your life, you should have some experience in a job. And they're going to be like, okay,
Exactly.
okay, well, this guy's already got experience. He's not some high school kid fresh out of school looking for a job. He's been in the workforce for the last 15, 20 years.
Exactly.
He's got some responsibilities. He knows how work goes. So we'll give him a little more because he's more trustworthy. We can expect more out of him.
Exactly.
They're not going to sit there and be like, oh, you're 40. All right, here's minimum wage. No, that's not how it works.
No, I don't know of any. I don't know of any company or any place of business that does
And
that.
if there is, that's not right.
No, I mean, and
Honestly,
that's
if they're paying some 35-year-old guy minimum wage that has experience, that's just bullshit.
and that's on them. I mean,
Yeah,
but
no, completely.
but $15 an hour. I mean, to flip burgers or to, work a register or, stock shelves or whatever the case is. I mean, it's ludicrous. I mean, look. And you hear this
Hmm.
you hear this argument all the time, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there anyways because it happens to me every fucking time I go to a fast food joint. They get my shit wrong every fucking time.
Except Chick-fil-A because they got their shit down pat.
Well, yeah, but they also don't pay their employees minimum
No, they
wage.
pay them good.
And they have scholarship programs, which a lot of these other
Yep.
companies don't have. A lot of
And they give them off every Sunday. They take care of their people.
a lot of people on the left like to knock or talk shit about Chick-fil-A because it's a religious company.
It's a Christian company, yeah.
First of all, when the fuck did that become a bad thing? Number two, they do more shit for their community and for their employees than any other fast food place I've ever seen in my life. You name one other fast food place that takes care of their employees the way that Chick-fil-A does and their customers, and I'll buy you a fucking dinner. It doesn't exist. There is not one other place that does that. I promise
No,
you.
not a corporation like that.
No, not I'm talking. I mean a chain
Yeah,
restaurant.
like a fast food chain restaurant, especially
Yes.
one that's got healthy food, good food at that.
Yes.
I mean, their food really is fucking outstanding.
Yeah.
I was never a chicken guy, but when I moved to Texas,
No, it's good. It's good
it got me
shit.
hooked on that crap for sure.
But no, so,
Well, like you said, the $15 an hour thing is bullshit. I mean, they're guys in our service. The guys that are protecting this country aren't making that kind of money.
no. There's a lot of people out there that aren't making that kind of money.
That deserve to be
They
making
deserve
that
to
kind
be
of money.
making that kind of money. And not just the ones that aren't making it and deserve to be making it, but also the ones that, like, you look at our teachers, okay, where we live, the average teacher, I don't know what how long they had to be. I'm sure it's not the starting pay, but it's probably like the mid-range pay. It was the average pay for teachers in our area, make around $54,000 a year. Well, $15 an hour, it's what, like $31,200 a year, and you think that somebody flipping burgers at a fast food restaurant deserves to make, just $20,000 less than a teacher? You don't. I mean, teachers should be paid well over that. 75 to 100K a year, easy.
Yeah, definitely they should. I mean, they put up with your snot-nosed kids all day.
And not just the kids; they put up with these shitty parents all
Oh,
the
the
time.
parents are some of the worst.
The
Yeah,
parents are worse than the kids most of the time.
yeah. They don't understand what goes into
But-
teaching kids.
But $15 an hour for these minimum wage jobs is just asinine. And not only that, regardless of what you're worth or what the job is worth, you have to think about what that does to the economy as well. You raise the minimum wage from 720. That's
That's
more
half.
that's more than double
Yep.
what the minimum wage is now. If you do that, how many businesses do you think, number one, will go out of business, or number two, are going to have to fire or let go employees so that they can afford to pay their other employees? And then on top of that, if they do want to keep all their employees,
They
and
have to
not let
jack
them-
up their prices on everything.
well, they either jack up their prices or they cut the employees' hours. So they're going to pay them the same amount. They're just going to work less.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just looked up that whole thing with Bernie Sanders. He sat there and they did all the math, and he would have to lay off, or he would have to cut all his staffers' hours tremendously. And then when they did all the math, they said, "Yeah, we're making $13 an hour." So his minimum wage, and that's the other thing. You're a fucking multi-millionaire, and you want this to work? Take some of that money out of your own pocket and pay these people fairly if that's the whole thing. But he won't do that.
Well, and that's the other thing too, though, is I don't think that there should be. I don't think that it should be $15 an hour. I think, look, if the issue that you have is that you feel like you're not getting paid fairly, there are many different ways to change that. Number one, are you worth $15 an hour? If you're legitimately not worth $15 an hour, then I suggest you go do something about that on your own. Get an education, learn a trade, take some pride in your work, take some initiative, do better, whatever the case is. Um, stuff like that. I mean,
Hmm.
if you're not worth it, then why would I pay you? And number two, if you are worth it, then go fight for it. Go to your boss and tell him, hey, look, man, I've been here for 5 years. I'm here to work every day on time. I do this, this, and this for you. I've increased your production, or I've done this or that, or whatever the case is. Make a case for yourself. If you feel like you deserve it, go to your boss, make a case for yourself, and ask for a raise. Don't be don't be shy about it. Don't be embarrassed to ask for a raise. You have to ask. They're not going to. Most companies aren't going to voluntarily just say, "Hey, you know what? I think you've been doing a really good job. We're going to give you an extra $5 an hour." I don't know of any company that does that. None of them.
No.
Most companies don't pay attention to the good work that you're doing. They only see the negative. When you're late to work, they notice. When you call in, they notice. When you don't do something that you're supposed to do, they notice. When you screw something up, they notice. But when you're doing everything right and you're getting shit done, you're there on time and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, they don't notice because everything's running smooth and they have no reason to notice.
Yeah.
Most companies. Um, so if you feel like if you deserve it, go fight for it.
But
But don't put a strain on our economy because you feel like these people that are lazy as fuck out there working at McDonald's at 35 and 40 years old deserve $15 an
well,
hour.
this is another aspect of our lives that the government needs to stay the fuck out of,
Well,
in my opinion. Because look at it this way: if the government's coming in and saying you need to pay your employees this, and this, you need to pay them this amount. If they just left it alone and every company could start off their own minimum wage or how much you're going to pay the employees, the people aren't going to go want to go work for them. Bottom line. So these people are. So say I start a company, and I say, well, okay, I'm only going to pay you guys $5 an hour. Who the hell's going to come work for me? So I'm going to have to compete
well,
for those people for that work. So I'm going to have to up my salary, up my minimum wage, and say, okay, now I'll bump it up to 9, and then you'll start seeing more people come in. It's like that whole thing with Hobby Lobby. People were complaining about their benefits being too expensive. No one forced them to walk in there. They said, hey, here's the job. This is how much the benefits cost. This is how much you're getting an hour. Okay, we'll take it. And then a few months later, our benefits suck. This isn't fair. We're paying too much. Okay, you signed
right.
a contract. You signed something saying, I will work for you. This is what I'm getting paid. This is how much the benefits are for. Don't fucking work at that job then. If that's the problem, don't fucking work there. Because competition works in every.
It does,
It does. To me, that would help out.
but here's the problem that you would face though. I think there does need to be a minimum wage. I think the government does need to set a minimum wage, but I think 7.25 is too low, but I also think that $15 an hour is way too fucking high. I think somewhere around the 9.25 an hour is just right. That's about $19,240 a year. Um, that to me is a good amount for an entry level position or an entry level job for somebody just at things are going up. I mean, the cost of living is going up. Cars are more expensive, gas more expensive, insurance more expensive, everything's more expensive. So yeah, I think there does need to be a little bit of a raise there, but to go $15, anything over 10, in my opinion, is way too high for an entry level job. For a high school kid or a college kid just getting out of school or working while they're still in college, trying to put themselves through school. But $20,000 a year, that's a good paycheck
Yeah.
for any high school, college, or even somebody freshly out of college. That's a good paycheck. I mean, you can make it on that and as a stepping stone until you better yourself. That's a good, in my opinion, that's a good amount of money. I've I've lived on way less than that. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I mean, I've lived on the $15,000 a year minimum wage. I know what it's like. I had a car payment, a kid, insurance, all of that shit. I
But
know what it's
my whole
like.
thing with the government getting involved is too, if they say, okay, the minimum wage is 7.25 an hour, those employers are like, well, good. So when you come in, no, you're just getting minimum wage. I don't have to pay you anymore. Now, if they took that minimum wage away, like I said, the employees, in my opinion, would have to compete for your work, and they're going to pay you more. So, like, okay, the McDonald's over here is paying me $8 an hour, but I'm not going to come work for you. And the guy's sitting there like, well, I fucking need workers. I'm going to have to beat that price.
Yeah. So
And
here,
and they will compete for it. I mean, competition is that's capitalism. People compete for for products, for services, and for employees.
well, so yes and no. So the way that I would see that going is, I think that all these major corporations would get together, they'd lowball the shit out of people and try to get cheap labor. Just like why do you think a lot of these companies go overseas? Because they can pay pennies on the dollar overseas, and they're not legally able to do that here. But if they were legally able to do that here, you're going to tell me that these companies wouldn't get together and say, okay, there's no more minimum wage. Let's start these fuckers out at $4 an hour. And if they complain, well, fuck you, you don't have a
I think
job.
it would go both ways.
I don't know, man. I think you would have some company like small mom and pop shops or whatever that would be, they pay their employees fairly, because a lot of those mom and pop shops are, small town, hometown type feel, where they know everybody and they're not going to screw their neighbors or their family out of money like that. They're going to treat them fairly, but these big corporations, they don't give a shit.
Well,
I mean, they're trying to dodge every penny they
yeah,
can.
but that's the thing. When they start off as a mom and pop, like let's say Amazon, they started off small, they paid their employees good. Yeah, then they started bumping. As soon as they started making their money, then they started bumping everything overseas, getting cheap ass
Exactly.
products. But if they just, like I said, if they get rid of the minimum wage, they'd have to fight for those workers. Because Amazon, I mean, you have local delivery guys here. You can't have a delivery service in China and get your shit the next day over here.
No,
So they'd have to pay their people more. They'd have to compete for that work.
but they wouldn't have to pay their people more if other companies weren't paying their people that much either. That's my point. I think that they would get together. I think there'd be some sort of collective between these companies, these big corporations, where they would say, okay, look, I think we would sit down at a big table and say, okay, look, I think we're all paying too much in labor. I think we can cut our costs by 20%. Let's cut let's cut their pay down to $4 an hour. If they complain, tell them to go find another fucking job. Because if everybody's doing it, there's nowhere else for these employees to run to, because everybody's paying the same.
But to me, let the employees and the people actually working for these corporations, let them fight and keep the government out of it. Because every time the government gets their hands involved, shit goes downhill. It gets worse. I mean, look at healthcare, look at everything. Anytime the government dips their hands into something, education, it fucks it up.
No, I agree with you 100%, but I think that there does need to be some sort of limit so that people can't take advantage of other people. Like, I don't think that $7.25 an hour is taking advantage of anybody, but $4 an hour is absolutely taking advantage of somebody. Now, do I think it needs to be a little higher than $7.25? Yeah, like I said, $9.25 is a good starting point. But if you don't allow because these companies are going to try to screw anybody that they can. That's the name of the game. More money, more money, more money. It's all about money.
Make a separate entity of the government to control the wage. Then don't let the House of Representatives have any fucking control. I mean, look, they're making $175,000 a year to do jack shit, getting free medical, getting all this shit. They don't understand what the real world's like.
Well, I don't
put people in control that have been there, that are dealing with that problem. Put them in control. Make a separate committee for that kind of stuff. Don't let the federal government run this shit.
Well, but now you're talking about unions.
Well, it's at some point. My dad's part of a union, and his health care is outstanding.
Yeah, but
unions aren't completely terrible.
Well, they're not completely terrible. They're not completely bad either. They're not completely good either. It goes both ways.
But neither is the government at what they're doing.
Right, but what I'm saying though is that essentially what you're saying is let's kick the government out and just unionize. Get all the people together and let the people decide what how they're going to handle the management. The big corporations and what their pay is like, their benefits and everything. That's essentially what you're saying is let's organize and create a union, which I don't fully agree with. I see your side of it. I see where you're coming from, but for me, I don't think there needs to be a whole separate entity created to come together and decide this. I think it just needs to be, look, okay, minimum wage $7.25. Let's raise it a couple bucks. We don't need to double it, but let's raise it a couple bucks because for the cost of living and this and that, and understand that this is not a permanent job for. This isn't meant to be a permanent job. This is minimum wage. It's a stepping stone. Let's raise it to $9.25.
Well, if they get to $15 an hour, people are going to say, "Oh, I can do this shit for 30 years and retire."
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because what happens is that, number one, the employers aren't going to be able to afford this. Nobody's going to be able to afford. It's going to put such a strain on the economy. It's ridiculous. You're going to. Okay, so the cost of living goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You raise the minimum wage to meet the cost of living.
Cost of living is going to go right back up.
Then the cost of living goes up again because everybody has to raise their prices in order to pay their employees more money. So then they raise minimum wage again. Then
Mm-hmm.
they raise the cost. It's a vicious cycle, and it's gonna happen. It will happen,
Oh yeah.
especially if any of these smaller companies want to stay in business. They're not gonna have a choice but to either fire people or raise their prices, and maybe both, depending. I mean, that's double. That's double.
Oh
Seven
yeah.
$7.25 to $15 an hour. That's more than
You
double.
think McDonald's is going to keep their Happy Meal at $3?
Fuck
That's
no.
going to double.
Yeah, the dollar menu gone. It's gonna be like the $5 menu now.
Yeah, no, it's going to be the minimum wage menu.
Yeah.
This,
Welcome to minimum wage.
yeah, this is our minimum wage menu. Please select those.
Yeah. This is our minimum wage menu, or you could check out our premium menu
Yeah.
if you actually have a career.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just going to fuck up the entire country. They need to just leave this shit alone.
The whole idea. I mean, like I said, I agree that it does need to be
It needs to
raised,
go up, but not to $15
but
an hour.
not
That's
to 50.
absurd.
That's just it's insane. It's just it's ludicrous. I mean, there's no way that anybody is going to be able to sustain that.
No.
It's going to affect
Like I said, I could see the
everything.
corporations. Yeah, they could probably deal with it. They could probably make ends meet. They may have to lay off a few people here and there. But like you said, these small mom and pop shops or these companies that have a couple hundred employees, say goodbye to half of them.
Well, but that's another thing that people don't understand too is that the main people that this is going to affect negatively are the people working, are the minimum wage workers,
Middle class and minimum wage.
because guess what? You think that these companies are going to dip into their profits in order to pay these people more
Fuck
money?
no, they're not going to.
No, they're going to make cuts. They're going to make them anywhere they can. They're either going to make them with the products, so they're going to start making cheaper, shittier products than they already are, which is another issue that we can talk about later. But they're either going to make cheaper, shittier products, or they're going to lay people off, and or raise their prices.
Which is I mean,
So what's going to happen
which I mean, like I said, well, I was going to say this, but that's capitalism for you. These people take their money, they take their time, they take the risk, they build a corporation to make money. They want to become
Exactly.
rich. They're taking the risk. They're doing all this. I've heard arguments. We deserve cuts of that. No,
No, you don't.
You didn't fucking start this company.
You
You
didn't
didn't
put the
put in
work
the
in.
risk. You didn't put in the 10 years of back-breaking labor and sweat and blood and tears to make this company what it is. When this guy did, he started off with $10,000. Now all of a sudden it's a multi-billion-dollar company. No, you're going to come work for me because I'm the one that started this company. That's capitalism.
Exactly.
And if you want this $15 an hour minimum wage, guess what? You're going to lose your fucking job.
Yeah.
Tough shit. It's my business. I can do what I want.
Yep.
That's business for you. That's the United States. That's capitalism.
Yeah.
Tough shit.
No, I mean
I mean, that's how this country is run.
yeah.
If you want to make $1 billion fucking dollars or $1 million a year, go off and start your own company.
Yeah, put in the work. Do
Put
it.
in the work. If I knew what product to make or how to make it, what to do to become a millionaire, I'd be fucking doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm working for somebody else, and I'm happy making the money I make.
Yeah.
That's it. I made my choice.
But that's just it. It's all about choices.
Well,
We
no, it's the new generation too. They're just getting fucking lazy.
Well, they are lazy.
They don't want to work. They don't want to work for what they
They
have.
don't want to put in the time and the effort to get the results that they want. They just want the results handed to them,
Mhm.
and it's absolutely ridiculous. If you want anything in life, you have to work for it. That's the way that's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
It's not going to change. So all these fucking kids out there getting, liberal arts degrees and shit that they're never ever going to be able to use in a million years.
Lesbian dance theory, which I don't even know what the fuck that
Yeah.
is.
I mean,
It's a degree. Whatever the fuck it does.
you know what I did before I went to college? I wrote down a handful of things that I was interested in. Then I went online
So how much they got paid?
and I looked to see what the median salary was for those jobs in my area. Whichever one paid the most, that's what I went to school for. Because it was already I made a list of things that I was interested in. So nothing that I put on my list was something that I wasn't interested in. So I was interested in everything, all of those things. I just chose the one that paid the most.
Yeah.
But these kids nowadays are like, oh well, feelings, and I want to make sure that everybody gets their equal share, and feelings, and
Then go to California then.
fuck you, get out of here, fuck your feelings. Nobody gives a shit about your feelings. The corporate
People
world,
don't pay for your feelings. They
No.
pay for your fucking work.
the world
and
does
that's
not
it.
give a shit about you. It doesn't. The world doesn't
Well,
care.
no, it's like in my opinion, if I could go do a job that I truly, truly loved, go work in a shelter with animals. I would do it. But guess what? I ain't gonna get paid that much for it.
No, and you
Because
have
they're mostly nonprofit shelters and they pay their people minimum wage. But guess what? I've got a job. I do love my job. I would rather work with animals all day
sure.
and actually help make a difference. But guess what? I can't because
No,
I can't afford to have that kind of job. So
no.
I took a job that, yeah, the pay is great. The hours are kind of shitty. I work nights. But guess what? It is what it is. And I have a great time at my job. I love the people I work with. So I got lucky in that aspect. But if I really had my choice, like that's what all these kids want nowadays. I want to play. I want to play Minecraft all day. I want to play this. Is
What's
okay. That's great, but you're not going to get fucking paid from doing that.
Well, they're all kids nowadays are all about the want. They're not about the need. Okay, yeah. Hey, I want to sit on my couch all day in my underwear and eat potato chips and watch fucking TV all day. Guess what?
Who's going to pay you for that?
Nobody's gonna pay me to do it, and I can't support myself or my family on that. So
Well, welfare.
I have to go get a job.
Welfare.
Well, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
Well, that's another topic. We'll do that. We'll do an episode on that. But
Yeah.
But no, I mean, look, there's a lot of things that I would rather be doing. But you know what? I need to do what I'm doing now because that's what pays the bills, and I'm not completely miserable doing it. You know, I don't let work get to me. I go to work for 8 hours a day, or actually I go to work for 9 hours a day. I come home, and then I don't think about work. Work is just work. I go, I do my shit to get paid, and then I come home and I enjoy my life, my
Yep.
house, my family, my, whatever it is that I want to do. You know, work doesn't have
Which
to.
brings me back to teachers. They don't get that privilege.
Well, they come home and they still have to work.
They have to work. They have to grade
fucking
papers.
midnight,
They
1
have
o'clock in the
they have to
morning.
answer shitty ass parent emails. They got to talk to their boss. They got papers to grade. They got
Yeah,
tests to make up, and then they're not getting paid nearly half of what they deserve.
no. And what I like too is a lot of people are under the assumption that, oh well, you work all, you get paid all this money and you get the whole summer off. Guess what? These teachers, they get paid a salary. That salary is for the full year, summer included. Okay, they can choose to take their money.
They can choose to take that 3 months of pay and split it up between the other 9 months,
Right.
or have it spread out through the entire year.
Exactly.
They're not getting paid for doing nothing.
No, they don't get paid for those summer months. They get
They split that.
they
Say they make 50 grand a year. They're splitting that 50,000 up throughout the 12 months.
Yes.
There are some teachers that say, no, I want to take those 3 months and put that 3 months into the other 9, so I make more during those 9 months. But then come those 3 months, you're not getting a fucking paycheck.
exactly.
So then they're like, well, fuck, I just screwed myself because I spent all my money. Now I got nothing to live off for 3 months.
Exactly.
So these teachers or anyone that works in the schools spreads it out for the whole 12 months. So that way they at least get a constant paycheck and they can spread out their bills and figure things out.
Yes, but that's a common misconception that, oh well, they get basically 3 months of paid vacation. No, they don't.
No.
No, they don't.
And then on top of that, they don't even get enough paid vacation. They get some of them only get 10 days a year.
Yeah,
That's not enough,
no. But
especially for a teacher. I mean, some people don't want to go out during the summer.
now the only upside that I could see, and I know a lot of teachers and stuff, and a lot of them do this, is they tutor in the summertime, or they get other
Or
jobs
do summer school.
or summer school, so they
Yeah.
make some extra money in the summertime, which is good for them. But they shouldn't have to do that in order to pay the bills or whatever at home.
No, I mean, they're babysitting, they're fucking teaching, they're putting up with shitty parents. It's like the parents nowadays, they expect the teachers, you have to raise my kid. Why is my kid doing this? No,
Yeah.
I'm here to teach them what they need to learn. You're supposed to be raising them and making them a good person.
Discipline.
Yeah, I'm here to support you in that.
Yes.
But that's not my fucking job.
No, I play the supportive role. You're the main feature. Like,
Yeah, here's your homework. Parents, make sure your kid does your fucking
Yes.
homework. If your kid doesn't do your homework, don't come bitching to me. Why isn't my kid getting good grades? Because he hasn't done his homework in fucking 6 months. That's your fucking fault, not mine.
exactly. No, it's the whole.
And they need to get paid more. Bottom line.
It's ridiculous. Teachers are treated like shit. But
And they have a stressful fucking job.
yeah,
I've got a lot of people in the education field in my family, and it's underpaid and it's stressful.
Yep.
It really is. It's not fair.
nope, it's not fair at all. But like I say all the time, life's not fair. These people know what they're getting into when they sign up to be a teacher, and it takes a special
Person
It
to do
takes a
that.
very special person to be a teacher, to be a good teacher. It takes a very special person to be a good teacher, and there are a lot of really, really good teachers
Oh,
out
I had
there.
great teachers. I mean, I had teachers that kids bitched and complained about in school. Especially, I remember my math teacher in high school. You know, I was failing. I was doing this and that. They switched me to her class. She was a hard ass, but guess what? She fucking made me pass, and she you know she worked her ass off, stayed late, came in at nights when I had to go to night school for a couple weeks, and
Yeah.
I fucking passed.
Yep.
And she was a great teacher. It's like, yeah, she was a hard ass, but guess what? She cared enough about me
But that's just it.
to take care of me.
Kids need discipline. They need discipline. They don't know it, but they crave it. They crave discipline. They crave structure. They need it.
Hmm.
And if they're not getting it at home, then they're going to try to get it anywhere else they can. So it falls on the teachers a lot of the times, which isn't fair to the teachers, but that's the way that it goes.
Yeah.
But yep. Anyways, so yeah, I think these stupid fucking politicians, $15 an hour, fuck you.
Well, if that's the case, lower their pay half. If they want to double the minimum wage, cut half their salary.
Oh,
You're making 175 grand a year. Okay, you're making 85 now.
yeah.
Figure it out. Figure out how to learn on, how to live on it, because you know you're making money under the table somewhere else. You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
go. You don't go into government making 175 a year. 10 years later, you're a fucking multimillionaire.
Yeah,
You're fucking crooked. Take half your pay away. Trust me, you'll be fine.
they're all crooked.
Yeah, you're not paying for your health benefits either, so you'll be good on
Yeah.
85 grand a year. I take that pay any day.
But anyways, guys,
Fucking crooked pieces of shit.
they are all of them on both sides of the fence. They're all
There are a few that aren't, but for the most part, they
yeah,
are.
they're fucking crooked.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, guys, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.